Хари Кришна.
Hare
Ом.
Krishna, Prabhu.
О, Хари Кришна. Ом Агьяна Тимиранда Ся Гьянанджана Шалакая Чакшурун Милитам Яна Тасмай Шри
Recording in
Гураве
progress.
Намаха. Шри Читанья Манобиштам Стапитам Йена Бутали Сварупа Кадама Ям Дадати Свападантикам Ванча Калпатарубия Чакри Пасинубия Эвача Патитанам Паваны Бьовайшнау Бьонаму Намаха. Джа Шри Кришна Чайтанья Прабху Нитянанда Шри Адвейта Гададхара Шри Вас Адигоура Бхактавринда. Харе Кришна, Кришна Кришна, Харе Харе, Харе Рама, Рама Рама, Харе Харе. So, day before yesterday we were discussing three modes of material nature, and if Krishna will be especially merciful to us today, then we will cover the whole chapter. And what do we have to discuss today? Two parts, two last parts of this 14th chapter, verses from 14:14 to 14:18. It is about how living entity takes birth and leaves his body in a particular mode of material nature. And the last part is from 14:19 to 14:27. It is the process how one can transcend the modes of material nature. To transcend the modes of material nature and to become liberated, it is basically all the same. So we're going to discuss the process of taking birth and leaving the body in under the influence of three modes of material nature. And we have this verse 14:14, which is the first verse for today. Dvarakadish Prabhuji, would you like to read the verse? Hare Krishna. Dvarakadish Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Text 14.
It is on the screen.
Yata satve, sorry.
Yeah.
Yata satve pravirdhatu pralayam yati deha kadot atma vidam lokan amalan pratipadyate. Translation: when one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure, higher planets of the great sages.
Hare Krishna. So you see, there are heavenly planets. They are also higher planets. But it is not that all higher planets are about heaven only. There is Indraloka, and then there is Tapaloka, Satyaloka, all these things that are beyond. When one dies in the mode of goodness. So again, because these modes are competing, it means that if we want to leave our body under the influence of particular mode, we have to train ourselves. We have to have particular lifestyle where particular mode of material nature prevails. Or in our case, if we're speaking about Krishna consciousness, then we should try to arrange our life and to mold our consciousness in such way that Krishna consciousness will prevail. Sometimes people can say, I will enjoy this life, I will be doing whatever I like, and when I will feel that I'm about to leave my body, I will just lie down and will switch on my smartphone, my player, with the recordings of Srila Prabhupada's bhajanas, and will happily leave my body in Krishna consciousness because I will be listening to Srila Prabhupada's bhajan, and it will be Krishna consciousness, it will be 100% spiritual, so because of that I will go to Krishna's abode. No, no, one has to develop particular type of consciousness during the whole life. Krishna can never be cheated. He is situated in everyone's heart as super soul, and he knows about our endeavors or about absence of these endeavors. He knows everything. We cannot cheat Krishna. So usually it is when one leaves his body. Usually people say that person is The meditation is going on. The meditation on the whole life which already passed, all these events, all these situations which we went through, bad situations, good situations that left some impressions. So very quickly, living entity deals with all this movie, and it depends what kind of movie our life was. So let's make a good movie from our life, okay? Krishna conscious movie. Otherwise, these external things like smartphone and recordings of Srila Prabhupada's bhajanas, it will not help us. Will not help us. Because consciousness, if one lives his life not in Krishna consciousness, he even will not get this idea when he will be feeling like, okay, I'm dying. He will not feel like, okay, let me switch on the recording of Srila Prabhupada's bhajan. This type of consciousness which we develop during the whole lifetime will drag us from Krishna consciousness, or will drag us from material enjoyment. It depends what kind of consciousness we will develop. Verse number 15. Mataji Keshavi Palini, would you like to read the verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangi sajayate tata pralinas tamasi mudya yoni sajayate. Translation. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So you see, it is related to the verse of Bhagavad Gita 8.6, where this law of nature is described. Particular type of consciousness, because of that particular type of consciousness, living entity gets his material body. Again, this verse you have already read previously, and likely you even were memorizing this verse, but anyway, just let's make a link between today's 14th chapter and this verse number 8.6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavan тяджати анте калеварам там эвайти каунтея сада тадбхава bhavitaha. So the process how the incarnation goes on is described in this verse. Whatever state of being or state of consciousness which is described in this Sanskrit verse using the word bhava. Bhava, it is not only the exalted level of spiritual advancement, it is also just any level of consciousness, any state of being. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state will attain without fail. So for those who are under mode of ignorance, animal kingdom is ready to accept them, and this law, Jiva Jivasya Jivanam, will be working for them. Jiva Jivasya Jivanam, it is from Srimad Bhagavatam, it is the law of animal kingdom, that one animal is the food for another animal. So it is dangerous to remain in ignorance and tamagun, otherwise one can get animalistic form of life, and he will be suffering because he will be eating someone, and he also will be eaten by someone. Narottama Prabhuji, would you like to read the verse number 16? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Karmanaha sukritasyahu sadvikim kam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukham Ajnanam tamasaha phalam. Translation. The result of pious action is pure, and it is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, the result of ignorance is the increasing of ignorance. It increases more and more. like in Shri Shri Shikshashtaka, we know this line, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. This ocean of divine bliss, when we develop Krishna consciousness in our heart, it is always expanding, always developing. So the same way ignorance also can be developed. The more one is bound by tamagun, the result is tamagun itself. Like means we follow particular process, and this process helps us to be stable in this process. Like Srila Prabhupada was once asked, he was asked, why do you chant Hare Krishna? One journalist asked Srila Prabhupada and his followers, why do you chant Hare Krishna? And Srila Prabhupada, he answered, we chant Hare Krishna in order to chant more Hare Krishna. So it works very simple. We follow a particular process, and because of that, we become more involved and more absorbed in this process, and then Krishna consciousness develops, or ignorance also can be developed. Just continue, just keep yourself busy in particular type of activities, and these activities will help you to be more absorbed in this type of consciousness. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada explains how mode of passion works. If someone wants to have a skyscraper, so much human misery has to be undergone before a big skyscraper can be built. The financier has to take much trouble to earn a mass of wealth, and those who are slaving to construct the building have to render physical toil. The miseries are there. There may be a little so-called mental happiness. I have this house or this money, but it is not actual happiness. We were already discussing the nature of happiness in different modes of material nature, how it goes. So Rajas is related to miseries, and sattvic activities gives a feeling of sukha and jnana. You remember, right? One becomes conditioned by sukha and jnana. He feels himself knowledgeable and happy. But very important point, this sattvic activity cannot help one to get out from samsara. It is not about going out from samsara. And if to speak about activity in mode of ignorance, the result is that ignorance will be increasing. So again, look, very important point. For example, we have a goal. Our goal is Krishna consciousness, and we can put a lot of endeavors. But Lord Kapila Dev in the third canto of Bhagavatam, he explains that this devotional service can be performed in different modes of material nature. It is chapter 29 of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we can put a lot of endeavors, but the question is not that how much endeavors we put. The question is, under influence of which mode of material nature are our actions? You see? It is not about quantity, it is about quality. We can put a lot of endeavors, but if we perform tamasic seva, it will not help us, even if we perform a lot of tamasic seva. That's why it is important to be under guidance of senior devotees who will be helping us to perform devotional service on the most highest position of consciousness, which is currently available for us. They will help us if we will be under their influence. Because to surrender, we use this word, to surrender, to dedicate oneself. And usually people, they think that to surrender means to keep oneself busy, to do a lot of things. But it is not only about to do a lot of things. It is about to do a lot of proper things. That is the point. Otherwise, if the quality of our service is not high, then the result, expected result, also may be not achieved. Verse number 17, 14.17, and Mataji Mira, would you like to read this verse? 14.17. Microphone. Uh-huh. Okay, so.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Prabhu?
Hello.
Hello, you are able to hear me?
Well, you can switch off your Bluetooth headphones. Without Bluetooth headphones, the sound will be better.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Now you are able to hear me?
Yes, I'm able. Please read the verse. Okay.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramada moho tamasho bhavato jnanam evacha.
Okay.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada.
Okay.
From the Prabhu, I am attending from phone, so it is sorry, Prabhu. I am from the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops, and from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So you see, when one in mode of ignorance, it is dangerous to remain in this mode because the direction of one's life can be very easily lost. Illusion, madness, foolishness, one doesn't know what is the purpose of life. One has no willpower to achieve anything. And if one under the mode of passion, then this unlimited and greed which cannot be satisfied is developing in one's heart. So in these two modes, one cannot be happy. And if one in mode of goodness, then he can develop real knowledge in his heart. Real knowledge, again, it is about 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is not about information. And actually, this information doesn't make any person great. That, okay, I know a lot of things. Now we have this internet, we have this artificial intelligence, we can get any information just by pushing few buttons. Just push few buttons and you can get any information. Previously, those people who were remembering a lot of information, they could be very respected by others, but not information. Transformation is needed, transformation of the heart. And this transformation was described in these verses of the 13th chapter, from 8 to 12. So when we're speaking about real knowledge, again, mode of goodness, real knowledge, it is knowledge which was described in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is not that some information. So the importance of this mode of goodness or sattva gun is very great. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, let's start from this place. When they are actually educated people, when they are actually educated in the mode of goodness, they will become sober, in full knowledge of things as they are. Then people will be happy and prosperous. When even if the majority of the people aren't happy and prosperous, if a certain percentage of the population develops Krishna consciousness and becomes situated in the mode of goodness, then there is the possibility for peace and prosperity all over the world. Otherwise, if the people is devoted to the modes of passion and ignorance, there can be no peace or prosperity. In the mode of passion, people become greedy and their hankering for sense enjoyment has no limit. So this sattva gun is important. Otherwise, relationships between people are really horrible and they cannot be happy, not within themselves, not in relationships between people. Now I'm staying in one of countries. ex-USSR countries in Central Asia, and we have local parliament, and these people who are in this parliament, the representatives of the nation, they are really bad. They are alcoholics for many generations. They are meat eaters for many generations. They are quite greedy because they are in this parliament just to get some wealth, some money from the state, because the salary for one who is in parliament is quite big. So bribes are there, corruption is there, alcoholism is there, greed is there, and conflicts is there. They don't know how to live, and each of them, instead of discussing the laws and how to improve the life of people, they are just criticizing each other, and they are just criticizing how life goes on in country, and they are just asking questions to each other, why it goes like this, why it goes like that, just criticizing without giving any reasonable propositions. They don't propose anything. So really, if those people who are not in mode of goodness, they are useless in the sense they cannot improve life of humanity, life of citizens in the country, and when they will be trying to take the decisions, there is no logic in their decisions. They are trying to fix this small problem, that small problem, but they cannot see the broad perspective. There is no sattva gun. They cannot see broad perspective. So basically, nothing is changed. And politicians are changing one after another. But and each and every time when the previous politician went from his post, we get to know that we just have a chance to get to know how much he have stolen from the state. One person have stolen something from the state, another person. So this mode of goodness is quite important. It is not about Krishna consciousness itself. It is about culture of sattvic life. It is about yoga, Ayurveda, about ethics in relationships between people. So it is not about, obviously, about pure devotional service. So this indirect preaching, when we are just preaching some standards of pure life and harmonious life, is also good, because it is not that everyone is ready to accept the standards of pure devotional service, but if people become sattvic, much more sattvic and reasonable, it helps other people, because people, they are dealing with each other, they are influencing on each other. So it's important. And if to speak about Krishna consciousness, people, it is important for us to chant our rounds, to wake up early in the morning, to have this regulated lifestyle, to deal nicely with people, to show good example and good behavior and good qualities. And the more people like this we get in society, the more harmonious and happy this society becomes. So it can be our contribution to the society. Means Krishna consciousness is not only for itself. Is not this organization doesn't exist only for its own benefit, or for only those who want to be pure devotees, Shuddha Bhaktas. It is also for so-called general masses of people, to make their life more pure, harmonious, etc., etc. Verse 14. Oh, you have a question, right? Yes?
It's not a question.
Oh, very nice. Please ask the question.
Just comments,
Comment.
Just now,
Okay.
Prabhu was talking. Prabhu was talking about the politicians in the parliament and everything.
Yeah.
My feeling, Prabhu, the problem here, the citizens are not good enough to have the mode of goodness. That's why they're electing. That's why they're electing the people or selecting the people, those who are in mode of ignorance, and they end up in suffering.
You see, Prabhuji, those people.
My proposal is the people of the country must be in the mode of goodness
Yes.
so that they have the understanding to select the representative, the mode of goodness. If
Ah,
no, they will keep on suffering continuously,
uh-huh.
But this is what happening all over the world. All over the
Ah,
world is happening.
yeah.
So, sorry, one more point, Prabhu. So,
Okay.
Krishna consciousness is one of the best way to induce this mode of goodness to all the people while we are giving in class. Sorry, Prabhu, while we are giving in Bhagavad Gita class also, we also need to touch a little bit of the social and the political environment to explain to the people that we have to explain or recommend people to become the mode of goodness to live peacefully much better in future.
Ah,
That is my
okay.
comments.
Thank you very much. You can distribute the Sattvic Revolution book if you like, or some other books if you wish. You see, even if these people would be in goodness, those people who are electing, those people whom they are electing, it is the product of the same society. It is all interrelated. So if we want to make the whole society, first of all, we cannot make the whole society sattvic because people, they have different guna karma, and some people, they will be tamasic people the whole life. Some people will be rajasic. But anyway, if we will be able to increase the percentage, that is the point, that even if those who are electing, if some of them are in mode of goodness, but those who are elected, they are product of the same society, and those who are in Sattvagun, they will be looking on these candidates, and unfortunately, they will see there is no suitable person, basically. Because it is the product of tamasic rajasic society. So if it is just personal decision. ISKCON doesn't promote the idea that you go on election and take part, or idea that you avoid it. It is personal decision of any person. Just no political activity is performed on behalf of ISKCON. That is the only point. But if any person takes any decision that, okay, let me elect that person, then it is his own decision, it is his own responsibility. That's okay.
Even in the mode of goodness proof, they must have some kind of devotion. Without devotion, also mode of goodness become material, right?
You're speaking about those who are elected, on those who are electing.
I'm giving a general comment.
General.
Even though we are in the mode of goodness, we must have some kind of devotion.
Yeah.
To the life, or some kind of devotion, whether to the Deva's devotion or to the Supreme Lord. There are people also in the mode of goodness doing all of charity and everything. They are being very nice people. They don't hurt people, but they are not vegetarian. They are meat eaters and all kind of thing. So how do we consider them, Prabhu? Those who are very good people, very calm, very nice, do a lot of charities, but they are not vegetarian. They eat meat, Are they in mode of goodness?
No. No, of course no.
They are tamasic, right?
Of course no. You see, again, there are different levels of our existence, like Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manamaya. We already discussed these terms. That there is body, there is mind, there is intelligence. So in some cases, it can be so that a person is quite sattvic on the level of body, but he is not sattvic on the level of his mentality. Like, for example, Adolf Hitler, he was vegetarian, but we know his ideology. So on some levels of his of one's existence, on some levels there can be sattva can be presented, and on some levels rajas can be presented. That is the point.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to the verse 14.18 and let's ask Taruna Jagannath Prabhuji to read this verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Urdhvam gachanti sattvasta madhye tissanti rajasaha jaghanya gunya vrittista ado gachanti tamasaha. Translation: Those situated in the mood of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mood of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abnormal mood of ignorance go down to the hellish world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the future is predicted here. It is our Vedic futurology. Vedic futurology. Now we know the future of those who are living in particular mode of material nature. Those who are situated in mode of goodness, it means that they were developing this sattva gun in their consciousness the whole life. They will go to higher planets. It can be Indraloka, means heavenly planet, in case if the desire to enjoy prevails, or if desire for Gyan prevails, then on higher planets of sages that are situated beyond Indraloka. It depends on level of consciousness, and those who are in mode of passion, they live on earthly planet, means they will remain here, and they will be hankering for fruits of their activities. And those who are in Tamagun, first they go to hell, then after going to hell they get animal form of life, and then gradually they progress to human form of life. And this process, when they will reach human form of life, usually takes a lot of time. First of all, they go to hell. There are hellish planets. They are described in particular chapter of 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. All these sufferings are described there, 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then they go to some form of a dog or cat. Then they gradually become human beings. So the result of developing mode of passion and mode of ignorance is risky. In the purport it is written, people on this earth in the mode of passion or ignorance cannot forcibly approach the higher planets by machine. In the mode of passion, there is also the chance of becoming mad in the next life. What is the reason why they become mad? Why person can become mad? Because they have particular desires that they cannot fulfill. So there is reality which is around the person, and there is mind which wants some desires to be fulfilled, and these desires can never be fulfilled, at least in this particular lifetime. So when it doesn't come together, our desires and reality around us, sometimes people can become mad just because they are overwhelmed by material desires, or I would say the desires that one cannot satisfy. Like, for example, we have this book written by American writer and psychologist Dale Carnegie, and this book is about how to get rid from anxieties. I don't remember the exact title of this book. And the example is given in this book of one lady who wanted to give a birth to a child, but this lady could not give birth to a child. So she went mad. In her imagination, she had such idea that she already has a child, and she was speaking with this child, which was in her imagination only. The author explains that just let it be. If something is not, if some of our desires are not fulfilled, just let it be, just let it go, don't worry. It is not that each and every of our desires can be fulfilled. And this extremity, this example was given, this extremity, how it happens that one becomes mad if his desire is not satisfied. By the way, what is the name of this book? And also, do you know this person named Dale Carnegie from US, from America, or not? I wanted to ask you. Do you know him or not? It is.
Yes. Yes, I've heard about him. Srila Prabhupada used to quote about him in some of his lectures. Yeah.
Oh, really? He was quoting Dale Carnegie?
Yeah, I think he was the one who committed suicide, I think, no? He was trying to solve people, but he actually himself committed suicide.
That I don't remember. Did he commit suicide or not? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, we can even check it. Did he commit suicide or not? Just a moment. Well, it's written here that just because of some disease he left his body. Okay, anyway, so his book, I'm just trying to get the knowledge, to get the title of this book. Anyway, the book which is about how to get rid from anxieties. If you are interested to know, then you can get this book. Just ask Google what is the exact title of this book. And one of the advices which is given here, it is also related to our today's subject matter. The recommendation how to become more peaceful, how to decrease stress level. One of the advices which is given in that book is that you just live today. Just live in the perspective of one day, which you live now, today. Don't think about your past. Don't think about your future. Just live here and now. In this particular, in the borders of today's 24 hours. It was his recommendation. Well, this book was written in America in particular period of time, which we call Great Depression, when these troubles in economics and so on were happening. So because of that, this recommendation was given, and it was actual relevant for that period of time. And today also it can be relevant, especially when we live in a historical period of time when so much things are unclear and future is unclear. Like in period of Great Depression, a lot of things were unclear. So usually we create some plans for our life, and better to create plans in Krishna consciousness. And the result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. Srila Prabhupada writes here in the purport, it is the lowest quality in material nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species of life, birds, beasts, reptiles, trees, etc. And according to the development of the mode of ignorance, people are brought down to these abominable conditions. The word tamasaha is very significant here. Tamasaha indicates those who stay continuously in the mode of ignorance without rising to a higher mode. Their future is very dark. Sometimes our book distributors, they are saying to people on the street that if we will not be having spiritual practice, there is a chance to take a birth as a dog, as a cat. And some people, they are saying, oh, it would be very nice, I would take rest. Now I'm so busy, I have to work a lot. I have to pay for my loans. I have to deal with my relatives who are not so sweet people sometimes. And then I will become just a dog or cat, and my life will be very simple, and I will be taking rest. But you see, to be a cat or to be a dog, it doesn't obviously means that this cat or dog will be living in a house and will be having a master. Sometimes, in many cases, dogs and cats are living on the street, and their life duration is about 3 years only. 3 years, because of they are starving, they are eating, we don't know what they are eating, and someone can bite them, or cold, or heat, or whatever. So, but because of the ignorance, people are saying, okay, let me take rest in this animalistic form of life. It is about ignorance only, because of ignorance. And now we're going to discuss the second part of this chapter, where the process how to transcend modes of material nature is described. But before that, I also wanted to tell you about very important verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is verse 11:13:4. If you wish, you please write it down. Even if you don't wish, you also please write it down, because this verse is quite important, and it explains how we get the influence of modes of material nature on our consciousness. Through what we get this influence. 11:13:4. It is some kind of extra knowledge which is not included in Bhakti Shastri itself, but it is very useful knowledge. Mataji Maju Pashini Vishnu Priya. Would you like to read the verse? This verse 11:13:4. Hari Hari.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hari Krishna. Good evening.
Yes, Prabhu. 14.8. 18. Udva gachati
No. This
satvasto
verse,
madhya.
this Hari Krishna, this verse from the screen, not from Bhagavad Gita. This additional verse.
Prabhu, I'm on the phone. I couldn't see properly. Sorry.
Okay. Then just wait 1 minute. I will explain this verse. Then you will read that verse from Bhagavad Gita. Okay.
Agamapa.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Dvarkadish Prabhuji, you want to read, right?
Okay, I read. Okay. Agamopa prajadesa kala karma cha janma cha dhyanam mantro ta samskaro dasite guna hetava. Translation.
Translation, yes.
According to the quality of religious scriptures, water, one's association with one's children or with people in general, the particular place, the time, activities, birth, meditation, chanting of mantras, and purificatory rituals, the modes of nature become differently prominent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, it depends what kind of water we drink. Is that water pure or not? And what kind of books we read, these religious scriptures. And what kind of people are around us. And where do we live? Which country? Which Haribo? What's going on? Which country? Which place? You see? And also activities. What do we usually do? What is our lifestyle? Meditation, chanting of mantras, and purificatory rituals. It is about religious practice. What kind of religious practice? What kind of books? So it is different elements of our lifestyle. And through this lifestyle, modes of material nature are entering and influencing on our life. And now, Mataji Manju Bhashani Vishnu Priya, please read this verse. Hare Krishna. Verse from Bhagavad Gita.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
19, text 19, no?
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nainam guna. Prabhu, can you hear me? Nainam.
Yes, I hear.
Yad drishtam pashati gune bayascha param vitti mad bhavam so adhigachati. Translation: when one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these three modes, he attains my spiritual nature.
Hare Krishna. So you see, this, this word to see is very important. There is intellectual knowledge. We can just read books. We can get some kind of mental understanding. But here it is written about vision, about this, our capacity to see this, to diagnose who is under mode of passion, who is under mode of goodness, and what is under mode of goodness, what are manifestations of which modes are there. So intellectual knowledge is not sufficient here, and because of that there are different seminars seminars of like Shiva Ramaswamy Maharaj, he gave seminar on 3 modes of material nature, and and Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu, he gave the seminar, and I will share the links with you, and you please listen to this seminar. It will be like extra knowledge for you, practical knowledge, to understand how these modes are working. And also we have 2 preachers, indirect preachers in Russia. Their names are Audarya Dama Das, he is Lokanatha Swami's disciple, and another one is Paritoshaka Das. His spiritual master is Radhanath Swami. So they wrote a few books on 3 modes of material nature, how different qualities of a character are manifested in these 3 modes. Or because Paritoshaka Prabhu, he was an astrologer, Jyotish astrologer, he explains what does it mean Surya or Chandra or Shani in Sattva, in Rajas or in Tamas, how it is manifested in one's actions. These books are not canonical. Means when you will be writing your essays, you don't quote from these books. It is just for you to expand your vision a little bit, and it is also nice way to preach, to do indirect preaching, by introducing people to this conception of 3 modes of material nature, that everything is belongs to these 3 modes or to combinations of these 3 modes of material nature. Like for example, there is a TV, or there is a screen of a laptop, and we can see different colors because of this RGB system, right? RGB, red, green, blue, and these colors are mixed in particular proportion. So this example is given just to explain how modes of material nature are showing us different objects, material objects around us. So this knowledge will be given to you, and also I would like to show you one more verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is 25th chapter of 11th canto. You can also write it down if you wish to expand your knowledge about 3 modes of material nature. 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, you can get knowledge from here also. 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 25, and the title of this chapter is 3 modes of material nature and beyond. So in Bhagavad Gita also we will be having verses in different chapters where the manifestations of 3 modes of material nature are described. So this way of vision is very nice, because you can distinguish what is tamasic, what is rajasic, what is sattvic, and you can direct your life better. You can understand what is beneficial, what is not beneficial. 25th chapter of 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 3 modes of material nature and beyond. And we have a very interesting verse here. It is text from 2 to 5, where modes of material nature are described how they manifest themselves in one's character, or in one's actions. So nice verse. It gives much more broad perspective. We will just read this verse, then we will go back to Bhagavad Gita. And Taruna Jagannath Prabhuji, there is also Mataji with you, but his name is not visible completely here. So let her read this verse. And also, what is her name, by the way? What is your name, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, my name is Navina Jagannatheshwari.
Navina Jagannatheshwari. Oh, very nice. Names of both of you are related to Lord Jagannath. This
Yes, Prabhu.
Krishna's arrangement. Okay. Please read this verse. And you people, please listen attentively to this verse. Very interesting verse.
Mind and sense control, tolerance, discrimination, sticking to one's described duty, truthfulness, mercy, careful study of the past and future, satisfaction, in any condition, generosity, renunciation of the sense gratification, faith in the spiritual master, being embarrassed at improper action, charity, simplicity, humbleness, and satisfaction within oneself are qualities of the mood of goodness. Material desire, great endeavor, audacity, dissatisfaction, even in gain, false pride, praying for material advancement, considering oneself different and better than others, sense gratification, lust, eagerness to fight, a fondness of hearing oneself praised, the tendency to ridicule others, advancing one's own holiness, and justifying one's action by one's strength are qualities in the mode of passion. Intolerant anger, stinginess, speaking without scriptural authority, violent hatred, living as a parasite, hypocrisy, chronic fatigue, quarrel, lamentation, delusion, unhappiness, desperation, sleeping too much, false expectations, fear, and laziness constitute the major qualities in the mode of ignorance. Now, please hear about the combination of these three modes. Hare Krishna.
Such nice verse, such informative verse, right? A lot of things is written here. So, Burijan Prabhu in his book Surrender Unto Me, which we open sometimes, he explains the process, how one can develop such vision of three modes of material nature, how these modes of material nature are working in one's life. So it is our favorite software, which is called Bhaktivedanta Database. A lot of books are there. He explains, Burijan Prabhu explains how to develop this vision. Krishna here equates transcending the modes of material nature with liberation from the material world. The first step is to observe the modes working upon us. That's why this knowledge is needed, to understand what are the symptoms of different modes. So on the basis of these details of this knowledge, we can understand that now it was passion or it is tamagun or whatever. The first step is to observe the modes working upon us. Then by observing the modes at work, we can understand that the modes, not we, are active and that we are separate. In this way, we can come to understand that we are eternal living entities, separate from both our everyday activities and the modes. The second step is to understand Krishna's position. Although Krishna appears to be acting within the material sphere, he is fully transcendental. Srila Prabhupada writes, a man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of the material modes of nature. It has been already stated in the 7th chapter, 7, 13, 14, that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. Krishna next describes the result we can look forward to if we transcend the modes. Burijan Prabhu, he advises us to understand that there is material nature, which consists from three modes of material nature, and sometimes these modes are working. We can have a good example. For example, anger. One should control krodha or anger. We understand we are not this anger, but sometimes it is manifested. Sometimes it can be manifested in ourselves. Sometimes it can be manifested in someone. Usually devotees, they are trying to control this anger. So if it manifests, usually it happens unwillingly. So in that way, we can understand that it is some kind of force, external force, which makes us to behave in a particular way. And so we're trying to avoid the consequences of this anger. How to avoid the consequences of the anger? Very simple. If I feel myself angry, it would be much more better for me not to approach devotees at this particular period of time. Just let me first become peaceful, then I will approach. Otherwise, and people, they understand, devotees, they understand, it is not that he is angry, but anger is acting through him. Because maybe his lifestyle, or maybe his mentality, or maybe because of some external influence, he is now under influence of anger, which belongs to the lower mode of material nature. So some of manifestations of modes of material nature are considered to be beneficial for spiritual advancement, and some of these things are not beneficial. So devotees just
Hanuman,
by
like Hanuman Prabhu, Hanuman for Lord Ram, he become angry.
Angry, yes.
Yeah.
It is
That is
exception.
mode of,
It is exception. In Nectar of Instruction, it is written that to control anger means not just never to never be angry, but also when anger is used in service. It is good example. This example is given in Nectar of Instruction. Or for example, spiritual master who is chastising his disciple. In some cases it is possible, but generally better not to be so much angry. That's the point. Usually anger comes from unsatisfied expectations. We expect something, it is not fulfilled, we become angry, and the reason why we become angry because we are not supreme personalities of Godhead. Otherwise, all our expectations would be fulfilled. If we would be supreme personality of God, if we would be able to rule over everything, you know. Even Hiranyakashipu, who was able to rule over many living entities, he was very angry when his son Prahlad didn't accept his atheistic position. So you see, everyone is under his control, but his own son is not under his control. He is under control of Vishnu. So it was making him quite unhappy. We know this story. Hare Krishna. By the way, we have 16th chapter also, and in this chapter, demoniac qualities also will be discussed. Demoniac qualities that belong to lower modes of material nature that we should not develop in ourselves. We should, we should try to purify ourselves from the things, or at least to suppress, to control some of these tendencies if these tendencies are here. Sometimes some of these tendencies, because of some reasons, can be manifested, and we are going back to Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we already discussed the process how to transcend these modes of material nature. We should learn to analyze it, to analyze how it influences on us, and we should try not to identify ourselves with these three modes. And for that, this knowledge is needed, how this mode is manifested and how this mode is manifested. Like for example, you see a small child, sometimes he is crying, small child is crying because he is hungry. Child is hungry. Child cannot speak anything. He is very small, and he even cannot understand that he is hungry. But his mother knows that he is hungry, and she knows what to do. And gradually, this self-realization, self-understanding that, okay, it is the symptoms that I am thirsty. It is the symptoms that I am hungry. It is the symptoms that I have to go to toilet. These symptoms, living entity learns to understand. his own symptoms. So the same way, like we know the symptoms of our body, the same way we should know the symptoms of modes of material nature that influence on our consciousness. Very simple, very simple. And now let's ask Mataji Divya to read verse number 20. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Guna etan atitya trin dehi deha samutpavan janma mrityu jara dukhair vimukto amritam ashnute. Translation: when the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distress, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, this spiritual life is to live this is about how to live this material world, how to get out from this material world, from samsara. We have this indirect preaching when we explain people what does it mean sattva-guna, mode of goodness. Sometimes people can think that spiritual life is just in order to become a good person or saintly person and so on. In some religions, they also promote this idea that the idea of spiritual life just to become better. It is not only to become better, it is not only about sattva-gun, which is stepping stone for spiritual life, for transcendence, but it is about going back to Godhead from this material world. And when one goes from material world back to Godhead, he can enjoy nectar even in this life. This statement means, and this statement is usually used to explain that spiritual life is not about how we are going to dissolve ourselves in impersonal Brahmajyoti. It is about our own spiritual nature, which is never destroyed, which is not perishable, like we know from this second chapter of Bhagavad Gita that spiritual soul is unperishable. So one can enjoy nectar even in this life. One can enjoy anything if he is a person. If one is trying to dissolve himself in Brahmajyoti, to commit so-called spiritual suicide, to destroy his personality, how he can enjoy? To enjoy means to remain as a person, another person, not like this. In each and every birth we have particular self-conception, but here we are speaking about Svarupa, or our eternal and deeply forgotten form, our form in spiritual world. We forgot what is this form was about, but this form is there. And in this verse number 20, 14.20, it is described that spiritual life is about these two things: to get out from samsara and to go back to original position. And it is called mukti. Mukti, it is not about how to dissolve oneself in impersonal Brahman. Srila Prabhupada gives the definition of mukti in purports to Kapila Dev Shiksha in 3rd canto of Bhagavatam, that mukti is when one goes back to his original position. It is called mukti. So it is about mukti, it is about going out from samsara, and it is about enjoyment in spiritual world. Anandamaya Vyasat, living entity, is always looking after happiness, but this happiness is possible only in the atmosphere of Satchitananda. That is the point. Verse number 21, and now Arjuna is going to ask questions to Krishna, how to transcend modes of material nature and so on. And Krishna is going to answer these very important questions. And we will ask Sarva Devi Radhika Mataji, can you read the verses? What is the situation there? Sarva Devi Radhika, Hare Krishna. Hari Hari Bol. Okay. Okay, then, okay. So, Mataji, are you going to read the verse?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, good evening.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Arjuna uvacha kairlingais trin gunan etan atito bhavati Prabhu kim achara katam chaitam trin gunan ativartate. Translation okay. Arjuna inquired, "O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior and how does he transcend the modes of nature?"
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Hare.
Thank you very much. So, you see, devotees, in this book, Surrender Unto Me, there is a nice purport written by Baladeva Vidyabhushana. He is one of our acharyas. And Baladeva Vidyabhushana makes these questions more clear, that we could understand what exactly Arjuna is asking Krishna. Just let me open this. I mean that Baladeva Vidyabhushana formulates these questions better than it is written in this translation. Srila Baladeva Vidyabhushana expands and rephrases the meanings of Arjuna's questions. Arjuna first asks, what symptoms of transcendence will manifest in a person no longer affected by the modes? The question rephrased is, how do we understand that someone has already transcended? Means, what are his symptoms? How we can understand that this person is already transcendental to three modes of material nature? Like, for example, in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna already was asking this question, who is Sthita Dhir Muni? Maybe you remember. Who is this Muni or wise person with stable consciousness, stable intelligence? What are the symptoms of Sthita Dhir Muni? How we can understand that he is actually Sthita Dhir Muni? And here the same question, how we can understand that person is transcendental to three modes of material nature? And the second question, what is his behavior, means basically it means what is the nature of his behavior. Is his behavior regulated, Haribol, regulated or enacted according to his own desire? It is based on regulations or it is based on his own desire. Like, for example, in our spiritual life, we have these two parts of our sadhana, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and Raganuga sadhana bhakti, right? Narottama Prabhuji, right? Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and Raganuga sadhana bhakti. It is discussed in Nectar of Devotion. And when we are on the level of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, what we are doing, we following the spiritual path on the basis of sense of duty before spiritual master, because we have all these regulations, not mainly because we want, but mostly because we have to, and we have obligations, commitments, and so on and so on. And Raganuga sadhana bhakti, it is about genuine desire to serve Krishna, because this bhakti already manifested in one's heart. Of course, by mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the process of devotional service which he gave to us, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is designed in such way that even on the level of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, it is not pure Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Anyway, some mood of Raganuga is there just by his mercy. I mean that it is not just some dry practice which is based on prescriptions. Anyway, the desire to serve can be experienced even by neophyte devotee, even at the very beginning, by mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is natural. So anyway, Arjuna is asking Krishna, is his behavior or behavior of one who is transcendental to three modes of material nature, this behavior is under some kind of regulations, or it is based on the desire, on willingful actions of a person. And the third question asks, by what practices does he achieve transcendence? Means what he is doing to achieve, to become transcendental. What is needed to become transcendental? Okay, now we are going to answer, not we are going, Krishna is going to answer these questions. And it will be verse 22. Just let's go back to the book. 14:22. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Well, you see, now these verses are put all together. From 22 to 25, they are all together. And means someone will be reading a lot of Sanskrit and a lot of huge translation. Okay, let's choose someone. Okay. Sarva Loka Pati Krishna Prabhuji, are you driving or you can read? What is your situation? Please tell us. Sarva Loka Pati Krishna.
Driving, Prabhu. Driving back.
Driving. Okay. Then okay.
I read, Prabhu. You want me to read?
If it is possible, if it is not dangerous for you.
No. The Prabhu is driving, I think. The Prabhu is driving, right? This is.
So what we are okay, means we should ask someone else. Okay. Hema Manjunath Mataji. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Please read the verse.
Bhagavan Vacha.
Okay.
Prakasham cha pravritim cha. Prakasham. Start my video. Prakasham cha pavitram cha moham eva cha pandava na devasti sampravartani na nivrittani Akankshati Udasina Vadasino Guninaryo na Vichalyate Gunair Gunavarthana Ityevam Yovatistati Ningate Samadukha Sukha Swastha Samaloshtana Kanchanam Tulya Priya Priyo Drishyas Tulya Driyas Indriya Priya Priyo Driyas Tulya Nindatma Samstutya Manapamano yastulyas tulyo mitrai prakashayoho sarvaramba parityagi gunatyasa uchyate.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Uchyate translation. Yes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said that, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illuminations, attachment, and delusions when they are present, or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady and situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats like both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all the material activities, such person is said to have transcendented the modes of nature. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much. So you see, again, let's remind ourselves these three questions that Arjuna asked to Krishna. The first question was how we can understand what are the symptoms of those who are transcendental to three modes of material nature. It was the first question. The second question is on what their activities, their behavior is based, on their desires or on some prescriptions from within. And the third one is what should one do to become transcendental like them? What did they do to become transcendental? So everything starts from their attitude to manifestations of three modes of material nature. He who doesn't hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they are disappear. Delusion means tamagun, attachment means rajagun, illumination means sattvagun, right? So it's quite clear. So sometimes we deal with some people who are tamasic or rajasic or sattvic, but because one is transcendental, so he is not influenced by all these things. He is nicely situated in Krishna consciousness and he has this yoga, this link with internal energy of Lord. So he is not disturbed. Like there is an example of an ocean. There is an ocean, big ocean, and a lot of rivers can enter, can flow into this ocean, but one is not disturbed because of that, because he is fixed in Krishna consciousness. Because you see, if someone is not transcendental, if someone is under modes of material nature, then some of modes or some of manifestations of these modes will be pleasant for that person, and some of these modes will be disgusting. And for those who are transcendental, everything is equal. At the same time, Srila Prabhupada, he gave the instruction, if some tamagun is there, especially this instruction is given for those who are leaders, administrative leaders, spiritual leaders, and so on. So we are preaching organization, means we can be transcendental, but anyway, like Srila Prabhupada, he is Uttamadhikari, he is transcendental, but he accepted this position of Madhyamadhikari, or someone who is distinguishing between good and bad, beneficial, not beneficial, acceptable, not acceptable. So the same way, in ISKCON itself, in organization, when we see manifestations of lower modes of material nature, we should do something with this. One should, like Srila Prabhupada, he told once, and this story is mentioned in Satsvarupa Dasa Goswami book, Nectar, Srila Prabhupada Nectar, such book we have, written by Satsvarupa Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Nectar. And Srila Prabhupada says, one has to protest when he sees the manifestations of tamagun. When he was going here and there in just observing what's going on in one temple, he could see that the toilet is dirty and smell is disgusting, and he just looked at his disciples and he thought, why no one is protesting? So externally, as leaders especially, and not only as leaders, we should pay attention to some imperfections of this life, and if we have some responsibility, we also should not be so-called falsely transcendental. But anyway, one of the symptoms of those means we have to play this role, even if we became transcendental, even if we became. But anyway, just to set good example for others who are not transcendental, we have to pay attention to on manifestations of lower modes of material nature, and to keep places clean, and to keep situations proper, and so on and so on. But anyway, the idea is that because he is situated in Krishna consciousness, he he is not trying to derive happiness from any object which belongs to goodness or ignorance or rajas passion. He is not trying. So doesn't hate when they are present and not long for them when they are disappear. Basically, it is the life of materialistic person. It is the whole scenario of materialistic life. Materialistic person lives the whole life in such way that I have something and I love it, and something I hate, and I'm longing for something that I lost, and I'm dreaming that I will be having something in future, and something is acceptable, something is not acceptable, means he is not equal to the manifestations of three modes of material nature. He is trying to derive happiness from this. He's trying to derive happiness. It means he is not transcendental, this person. So there is a need of some alternative, right? Because it is typical and quite well-known behavior that I have just described, to have some desires regarding objects of senses, to long for something if something disappeared, or to hate something which is not pleasant. So there should be some alternative. What kind of consciousness one has if he is really transcendental, that's what we are going to discuss now. So now let's open verse from Bhagavad Gita, verse 2.14, where Krishna gives the instruction to Arjuna that one should try to train himself to be equipoised before different manifestations of modes of material nature, before the face of duality of this material world. Something is pleasant, something is not pleasant at all. So here in Bhagavad Gita 2.14, Krishna gives this instruction. It is like Vaidhi, instruction, prescription, means you are not transcendental yet, but anyway, you just try to tolerate. Okay, let's read this verse. Dvarkadish Prabhuji, would you like to read this famous verse from Bhagavad Gita? Microphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
2.4. Matra spasa su kaunteya. This is I think memorized, but I don't know. Matra spasa su kaunteya. Sitosna sukha dukkada. Agama paino nityas. Tam sitiksva bharata.
Okay.
Translation. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception. O son of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, it is prescription that you just learn to tolerate. And sometimes not so easy to develop such quality as tolerance, but there is a small secret, spiritual secret. When instruction is given, benediction is also given to follow this instruction. When we get instruction from spiritual master, or when we get instruction from Krishna, these instructions are meant for us also. If we get the instruction, we are not getting not only instruction, we get the power to follow this instruction. Of course, we can ask for benedictions from our spiritual master, from seniors. We can pray to Srila Prabhupada that he could help us to become sufficiently powerful to learn how to tolerate the dualities of material world. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of someone who is taking a bath early in the morning in winter. He takes bath, it is cold, but he is taking the bath. And the second example was given, likely you remember, the example of a woman who doesn't hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the month of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season, especially in India. It is mainly in India. In some other countries, it can be not even summer. I remember few times, like in my native city, Novosibirsk, it is in Siberia, 2 or 3 times on 9th of May. 9th of May, we celebrate Victory Day after the Second World War. The 9th of May, it is a national holiday. So I remember 2 or 3 times there was snow. There was snow on this Victory Day. I remember. It is Siberia. It depends on the country. But if we are speaking about India, then it is the hottest place, hottest time. And anyway, woman is ready to cook in the kitchen. It means that he is putting on the fire on the street, on the open air. It is not about microwave oven in the house, in the apartment. It is about fire on open air. It is already hot, but anyway, she is putting on more fire just out of duty. So here in this verse 2:14, it is mentioned that how we can learn to tolerate this duality. This sense of duty is needed. Sense of duty is needed, and in these verses from 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the process how to become transcendental is described, is explained, that the sense of duty before spiritual master. It helps a lot. It helps a lot to put endeavors on spiritual path. Such endeavors that we probably would not put for our own benefit. But out of respect to spiritual master, we would try our best. So this sense of duty is very important here. And also, the next point here is, just one moment, where it is. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'm just trying to find one point. Here. So you see, happiness and distress, honor and dishonor, matras parshastu kaunteya. And the purport to this verse from 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita gives more details here regarding the dealings of a transcendentally situated person. The materially situated person is affected by so-called honor and dishonor offered to the body, but the transcendentally situated person is not affected by such false honor and dishonor. He performs his duty in Krishna consciousness and doesn't mind whether a man honors or dishonors him. He accepts things that are favorable for his duty in Krishna consciousness, otherwise he has no necessity of anything material, either stone or gold. So here, the principle of Yukta Vairagya is described. It is basically the answer on the question on what his behavior is based. On some prescriptions from outside, or it is based on his own desire. So it is based on his duty in Krishna consciousness, it is written here, on his intention to serve Krishna. And also he doesn't depend, this person who is transcendental, he doesn't depend on some judgmental statements of other people. Judgmental statements. Different people, they can say, oh, this person is nice, or that person is not nice, he is not nice, or he is nice. But this person who is transcendental, he is not affected. He doesn't pay attention on mundane opinions. Like Srila Prabhupada, he has this class on Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. There is such recording, and this recording is entitled Vox Populi. Vox Populi means opinion of masses, general masses of people. Vox Populi, opinion of asses. It is title of the class. Vox Populi, or opinion on different subject matters of mundane and ignorant people. It is opinion of ASS. It is the title of one of the classes given by Srila Prabhupada. So he is interested, one who is transcendental, he is interested in what is spiritual master's opinion on his activities, what is devotees' opinion on his activities, senior devotees and devotees in general, and what is written in sacred scriptures. So he is not judging himself on the basis of any strange and weird and ridiculous statement of any mundane person. He has no such how to say, he doesn't dependence. He doesn't depend on this judgmental statements. It is the definition of humility given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Humility means what is the word? Means indifference to the opinions that mundane and spiritually ignorant people can have relating to Krishna consciousness. They can have different ideas, but if one is indifferent to these ideas, it is also humility. Humility, because humility means we accept only those opinions that are worthy to accept. It is our humility before authoritative opinions. And it means that the another part of this humility is to reject those opinions that are not so much important, that are not authoritative, that are ignorant. So his activities are based on duty, on desire to satisfy Krishna, on intention to satisfy Krishna. He accepts things that are favorable for his duty in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, he has no necessity of anything material, either a stone or gold. It is one of the symptoms of transcendence, how we can understand that he is transcendental. He is not attached to the matter. Like Srila Prabhupada, he gives the example. Once he was asked, Srila Prabhupada was asked by some people, why do you construct such luxury temples? Why your ISKCON temples are such luxury temples? ISKCON Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan and so on and so on. And Srila Prabhupada, he answers, actually I can just sit under the tree and I can give you Krishna consciousness here, but you will not come. You will not come under the tree to listen to me. That's why for you these facilities are needed. So that's why you are constructing these temples. So for him, Srila Prabhupada, we know from the history when he was constructing this project in Shridham Mayapur, he was living in simple house made from straw. And in America, when he was starting ISKCON, also his living conditions in this area of drug takers and hippies was also quite simple, not so much comfortable. So just for himself, he is ready to tolerate some inconveniences, and they can, these transcendental people, they can live simply. But if something is needed, really needed for service, money, material resources, etc., then they are ready to accept it. And it is called Yukta Vairagya. It is the term of Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya, or real renunciation. He is renounced in the sense that he doesn't need anything for himself. But he is not renounced in the sense that if there are some material resources and these material resources can be used and engaged in Krishna consciousness, he will not hesitate. He will engage all these resources in Krishna consciousness. I will open the verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita where this definition of Yukta Vairagya is given, where it is given. Just one moment. Here, very nice. So it is quoted here, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 23.105. So 2 verses are quoted here from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu or Nectar of Devotion. Definitions of Yukta Vairagya means real renunciation, genuine renunciation, and Phalgu Vairagya or false renunciation are given here in this purport and these verses. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yathartham Upayunjatah Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchate Prapanchikataya Budhya Hari Sambandhi Vastunaha Mumukshubhih Parityago Vairagyam Phalgu Kathyate. Translation: when one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. This feeling of possessiveness is not there, Yukta Vairagya is there. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of its relationship to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. Like there is famous story, which is also mentioned in Srila Prabhupada Nectar book. Devotees, they once brought a newspaper to Srila Prabhupada, and in this newspaper, one photo was printed, published, where one Mayavadi philosopher, Mayavadi sannyasi, someone is giving money to this sannyasi and he is showing with his hands like, I don't need this money. He is doing like this. Don't give me this money. And Srila Prabhupada told, okay, now let's publish the article about me and let's print the photo where everyone is giving money to me and I'm engaging all this money in Krishna consciousness. Now let's do like this. So it is the mood of Yukta Vairagya. To be Vairagi doesn't mean to reject everything material. It means that for ourselves we follow this simple life strategy, simple life policy, but it also means that the more material resources we will engage in Krishna consciousness and we will spiritualize without any possessiveness from our side. The more we will do, the better, and the more Krishna will be satisfied with these activities. So here in purport to this verse, Srila Prabhupada writes, he doesn't attempt anything for his own sake. He can attempt anything for Krishna, but for his personal self, he doesn't attempt anything. By such behavior, one becomes actually transcendentally situated. It also means that it is not only the symptom of transcendental person that he has such mentality, but also by practicing this. But practicing this gradually, one can become transcendental to 3 modes of material nature. Also, the process how one can become transcendental to 3 modes of material nature is described in verse number 26, 14.26, very famous verse, which is mandatory for memorization as far as I remember, according to our Bhakti Shastri standards. And Mataji Bhakti Priya Madhavi Devi Dasi raised her hand. It means you are going to read the verse or you are going to ask the question.
Prabhuji, I will read the verse also, but I had a question, Prabhuji.
Okay.
So 14.25, the translation, you said illumination, which is in Sattva Guna.
Illumination.
So should we understand illumination as knowledge?
Illumination, there was a verse in this chapter that when one is in Sattva Gun, his 9 gates of his body are illuminated with knowledge. It is related to that place.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So I'll read the verse, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati tyaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So again, when we're speaking about Brahman, it means para-Brahman, it means Krishna, it means to go to spiritual abode. And here the rule is mentioned that one should be stable, one should be fixed in devotional service. Determined means one should be ready to serve in different circumstances. It is written here, unfailing in all circumstances. We can take example from our spiritual masters who took this burden of love on their shoulders. They are taking care of us, they are taking care of society, and the circumstances can be so different. Someone is sometimes is quite comfortable, sometimes is not. So their determination is such that they are ready to serve in all circumstances. Just let's take the example of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, for example. Also we can pray for his health, because now he goes through some difficulties with his health, like unfortunately for quite many years already he has these troubles with his health. But at the same time, just by observe how he is determined in these circumstances, the faith is increasing, the faith that this transcendence is possible. So what we wanted to say about this verse, 14:26. Avyabhicharina. Avyabhicharina means without fail. Very important word. And this word already was mentioned in previous chapter when we mentioned qualities of knowledge. So let's go back to the 13th chapter, to these verses. Let's see what was the purport, Srila Prabhupada's purport to this term, Avyabhicharina. Here you see, Bhakti Avyabhicharini, it is here. And Srila Prabhupada explains that this quality is the most important in this list of qualities of knowledge. Avyabhicharini. Mai Chananya Yogina Bhaktir Avyabhicharini. The process of knowledge terminates in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. Means it is the result of the practice that one becomes stable, one practices without fail. We cannot expect on our first stages of spiritual life that we always will be stable. One should achieve such level of consciousness and level of spiritual practice when one is really stable. So if one doesn't approach or is not able to approach the transcendental service of the Lord, then the other 19 items are of no particular value. But if one takes to devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, the other 19 items automatically develop within him. Means by Krishna's mercy, when we are sincere in devotional service, these qualities that are mentioned here in this verse are developing in us just without any conscious endeavors from our side. We have, what to do? What to do if we want to be stable? That is the question, right? If we want to be fixed, there is a solution. I will show you this solution. This solution is mentioned here in this document, GBC document, which we usually study on ISKCON Disciple course. It is GBC statement on Srila Prabhupada's preeminent position. So we have two quotes here, and in the second quote, Srila Prabhupada explains how one can become stable just by taking guidance of his spiritual master, by taking spiritual guidance. Srila Prabhupada explains in his lecture on Bhagavad Gita, which he gave in Los Angeles, we may not be percent perfect, But as far as possible, if we follow the instruction as it is, that much perfect. In this way, one will get perfection. So one has to follow the same example, try to understand that a perfect expert technologist or technician or mechanic is working and somebody is working under his instruction. So this somebody, because he is strictly working under the instruction of the expert, he is also expert. He may not be 100% expert, but his work is expert. Is that clear? Because he is working under the expert. Do you follow? So if you follow pure devotee, then you are also pure devotee. Congratulations. It may not be one is 100% pure, because we are trying to raise ourselves from the conditional life. But if we strictly follow the pure devotee, then we are also pure devotee. So far we do that is pure. So pure devotee doesn't mean one has to become immediately 100% pure. But if he sticks to the principle that will follow a pure devotee, then his actions are, he is as good as a pure devotee. He is not, I'm explaining in my own way. It is the explanation of Bhagavata, Mahajano Yena Gatach Sapanchach, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 17:186. So you see, pure devotee, it is not only about those who are pure, it is also about those who are following those devotees who are pure. The meaning of this term, pure devotee, this word combination, pure devotee, it is not only about those who are perfect, it is also about those who are following perfect devotees. Like once journalist, he asked Srila Prabhupada how many pure devotees you have in ISKCON, and then Srila Prabhupada asked his secretary how many members are there in ISKCON now, and then he repeated the same quantity of people to the journalist, just because they are followers of Srila Prabhupada. So if we are sincere, if we are trying to follow, if we have instructions of spiritual master, then it can help us to become stable and fixed in devotional service. When we get instructions, it means not only we have got the instruction, but also we have got the power to follow the instruction, because usually instruction goes with benediction together. The power to follow is there. By giving instruction, spiritual master also empowers us to follow his instruction. It goes like this. The same process, how one can become transcendental by stable devotional service. The same process is described in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is verses 55 and 56. The same things are repeated here. It is the sacred scripture for us to understand better. Krishna repeats it many times. Bhakti mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvataha tato mam tatvato gyatva vishate tad anantaram. The same idea, not only in the verse 14:26, but also in 18:55. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion he can enter into the kingdom of God. The same idea. And verse number 56 is also good. What is written here? Sarva karmanya pisada kurvano mad vyapashreha mad prasadat avapnoti shashvatam padam avyayam. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. It is nature of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is based on mercy. It is path of mercy, path of endeavors and mercy. We put endeavors as much as we can, and maybe a little bit more also, and we get mercy of Krishna. It goes like this. So the example of an expert and someone who is working under the guidance of expert is given, And in such way, this level of avyabhicharini, or stable devotional service, can be achieved gradually, step by step, but anyway it can be achieved. It is the way how living entities, how spiritual practitioners were achieving perfection in past, just by following those who were their spiritual masters. And again, we are opening the book, which is called Surrender Unto Me. And here in the purport, Burijan Prabhu gives some more details on the process, how it works, how avyabhicharana works. While the process of knowledge just described, text says from 22 to 21, gradually elevates one to the platform of equanimity. One engaged in full devotional service immediately and automatically transcends the modes of material nature. The word avyabhicharana implies having the tendency to render service to no one except Krishna. So means one has to be determined. I have only one person to worship, Krishna. No demigods, no some powerful people, mundane people of this world, only Krishna. Means Krishna Eka Sharanam. There are 26 qualities of devotee, and one of this quality, which is the main one, is Krishna Eka Sharanam. Only to Krishna I am going to serve, and only his shelter I am going to accept. No other protectors, no other masters, no other objects of worship. Because the devotee is serving Krishna exclusively, he has no opportunity to serve the modes. This is the direct process of transcendence. Therefore, he immediately reaches the Brahman platform, where the modes of material nature have no power over him. On that platform, which is fully spiritual and beyond the modes of nature, pure devotional service begins. In his comment on text 2, Srila Baladeva Vidyabhushana stated that this knowledge was attained by worshipping the feet of our spiritual master. Why? Because development of a service mood as opposed to an enjoying mood shatters the glue that binds us to the material world. Thinking of ourselves as my Guru's servant and fixing his order as our life and soul frees us from Maya. The modes may dictate a variety of allurements to us, but devotees surrender to their Guru, follow the Guru's instructions, and don't heed the pushing of the modes. Their attitude of devotion and service, not merely the ability, like that of a jnani, to discriminate between the modes and the pure soul, carries them to perfection. Attitude of devotion, attitude of service. And we develop this attitude by serving spiritual master, by accepting his orders like life and soul. This point is very important. Actually, it is the slogan, the statement which Srila Prabhupada accepted for the whole his life. The whole his life. Because we have one verse in Bhagavad Gita in the 2nd chapter. It is famous verse 2.41, where this desire or this intention to accept spiritual master's orders as life and soul is manifested. Famous verse. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana bahushaka hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayanam. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. So Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur wrote in his purport to this verse 241, and then Srila Prabhupada read this purport and he became very inspired and he accepted this instruction for the whole his life. It was written there that one should accept spiritual master orders as his life and soul. So that's why Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON, he wrote these books, he did a lot of things. And in Srila Prabhupada's version of the purport to this verse, it is written a little bit in another way, not life and soul, but a little bit using other words. To be well-versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna, and one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. In Vishwanath Chakravarti's purport, it is written life and soul. In Srila Prabhupada's purport, it is written mission of life. Mission of life means we're going to do it the whole life. It is meaning of our life, and we dedicate ourselves to this. It is important. If we dedicate, if this mood of dedication is there, then we have a chance, by mercy of spiritual master, by mercy of Parampara, by mercy of holy name, by mercy of deities, by all their mercies, to become stable, to become fixed in Avyabhicharena, in this devotional service. It is based on our attitude to spiritual master and his instructions. And now we're going to read the last verse for today. By Krishna's mercy, we are able to finish, to cover the chapter today. Very nice. We're going exactly according to our schedule. Okay. Narottam Prabhuji, would you like to read the verse? Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya vyavasyasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya kantikasya cha. Translation. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is a constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, very important verse, especially for those who want to defeat Mayavada philosophy, those who are taking part in all these discussions. Here, Srila Prabhupada, here Krishna directly explains that Brahman comes from him, that he is Parabrahman, Krishna is Parabrahman, he is a person, and he is the basis of the impersonal Brahman. Everything comes from Krishna. Krishna stu Bhagavan Svayam, like it is written in Srimad Bhagavatam. He is original and supreme personality of Godhead. And usually, you see, there is one small secret. If you want to get summary of any chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you just read the purport for the last verse. So this purport, it contains the purport to the last verse itself, but the last paragraph is about the whole chapter. So we are going to read what is written in this paragraph, and we will stop on that point. And we will meet each other on Friday. Let's read this place. The living entity, although Brahman by nature, has the desire to lord over the material world, and due to this he falls down. In his constitutional position, a living entity is above the three modes of material nature, but association with material nature entangles him in the different modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Due to the association of these three modes, his desire to dominate the material world is there. By engagement in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, he is immediately situated in the transcendental position, and his unlawful desire to control material nature is removed. Means Krishna consciousness is the solution. Therefore, the process of devotional service beginning with hearing, chanting, remembering, the prescribed 9 methods for realizing devotional service should be practiced in the association of devotees. Gradually, by such association, by the influence of the spiritual master, one's material desire to dominate is removed. You see, the role of spiritual master is emphasized here, and one becomes firmly situated in the Lord's transcendental loving service. This method is prescribed from the 22nd to the last verse of this chapter. Devotional service to the Lord is very simple. One should always engage in the service of the Lord, should eat the remnants of foodstuffs offered to the deity, smell the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, see the places where the Lord had his transcendental pastimes, read of the different activities of the Lord, his reciprocation of love with his devotees, chant always the transcendental vibration Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and observe the fasting days commemorating the appearances and disappearances of the Lord and his devotees. By following such process, one becomes completely detached from all material activities. One who can thus situate himself in the Brahma Jyotir or the different varieties of the Brahman conception is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in quality. In quality, but not in quantity. Not in quantity. We have this Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Supreme Lord is Vibhu, and we are Anu. He is great, we are insignificant. We cannot take his position. But we can become transcendental. We can achieve this level, this transcendental level, Satchitananda, where we are not under control of three modes of material nature. It happens by mercy of Krishna. We serve Krishna, and you see, it can such impression can be there that we achieve it just by our own endeavors, just by mechanically following all this list, chanting holy names, following fasting days, and so on and so on. But anyway, it happens. How it happens? It happens. Krishna, he says to his servant, to Mahamaya, now release this soul. He is serious. He is serious about spiritual life. So our endeavors should be there, but also we should rely on mercy. Like we meditate on Kartik month, on this Damodara Lila, that the success in spiritual life depends on these two things, on our endeavors and on Krishna's mercy, on both. And now Narottama Prabhuji is going to ask the question or to put on the comment. Let's see what it will be. Let's see what it will be. Okay?
Just a question, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So when we read the last sentence of this purport here, one who can just situate himself in the Brahma Jyotir or the different varieties of the Brahman conception is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in quality.
In quality.
So sometimes we have read that in the previous chapters, in the purport, that there's a possibility when we situate ourselves in the Brahma Jyotir, we might not progress further to realize Paramatma and then Bhagavan. So how is it possible to be equal to the Supreme Lord?
The Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva philosophy states that we are already equal in the sense of quality because we're spiritual, but because we're covered by material energy, because of that we don't remember about spiritual nature and we're not manifesting the spiritual nature in full. That's why devotional service is needed. And if to speak about these processes, that let me first realize Brahman, then let me realize Paramatma and so on, it will take a lot of time, because this process of Ashtanga Yoga, when Ashtanga Yogis were trying to realize Paramatma, well, particular duration of life is needed, which is typical for Satya Yuga, about 100,000 years, for those who are practicing Ashtanga Yoga to understand, to see, to get darshan of Paramatma. And also, if we will judge it from devotional point of view, this idea that let me first understand what is Brahma Jyoti, it is waste of time, because if one dissolves there, actually he doesn't dissolve, but by Krishna's arrangement, Vimukta Maninas happens. Vimukta Maninas means mukti, which exists in imagination only. Means those who are achieving this Brahmajyoti Mukti, Sayujya Mukti, they just feel themselves like they are dissolved, but because soul is indestructible, they are not actually dissolved. They just feel themselves to be dissolved. And when they are in Brahmajyoti, they cannot act, they cannot serve. So because of that, this type of salvation or mukti is considered by Vaishnavas to be hellish conditions of life. You cannot serve to Krishna, means you cannot progress by following Bhakti Yoga process, and it is a waste of time. So better, it is the last verse of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The yoga ladder is described, and Srila Prabhupada explains that the highest peak of this ladder, of this mountain, is accessible for us now. So why should we waste our time for other processes if we are already on the 15th floor or 13th floor? Why should we be bothered about the second one or the third one? That's the point.
So, Prabhuji, is it okay to say that we don't need to realize Brahman and Paramatma? We can directly go to the realization of Bhagavan?
Everything is included. If you realize Krishna, you realize all other aspects. Brahmajyoti, it is just light which comes from transcendental body of Krishna. That's why we have read it in the 13th chapter, that there is no need of artificial illumination in spiritual world, because everything is illuminated by Supreme. So everything is included. Everything is nice. If to speak about Super Soul or Paramatma, it is manifestation of Krishna which is situated in a material world, which is arranged for us and for Krishna also to observe 24/7, to observe what we are doing, to observe. Because living entities in material world are rebellious. And in spiritual world, basically, there is no need of Paramatma because everyone voluntarily serves Krishna. So there is no need of this system, how do we call it, surveillance system, or how do we call it, these cameras that are looking after people. Everything is voluntarily, no need of Paramatma. And anyway, Krishna knows everything without this manifestation in spiritual world. Anyway, whatever is needed for him to know, he immediately knows.
Okay, Babuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Narottam Prabhuji. Yeah, Dwarkadish Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, yeah.
Referring to Prabhu's question just now, Brahman conception is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead quality. So this is only referring to the quality, not for liberation, am I right?
Can you repeat the question again?
No. Once a person attains such quality, he is going to Brahma Jyoti or something like that. But what I'm telling is, one person attains this quality, is he eligible to attain Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavana?
Yeah, it depends on mood, it depends on level of consciousness, it also depends on Krishna, it depends on his Svarupa in spiritual world, what is his original position in the spiritual world. If one is eligible, then by Krishna's mercy it happens. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you very much, dear devotees. See you day after tomorrow. We're going to discuss 15th chapter next time, which is Purushottama Yoga, where Supreme Lord is compared with material world is compared with tree, and Supreme Lord is compared with the root of this tree, means Supreme Lord is the root of our existence, foundation of our existence. Very interesting story. And these analogies are given. So day after tomorrow we are going to discuss this very interesting subject matter. Vanchkalpatarubhyascha kripasinubhya evacha patitanam pavanabhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Babu.
Thank you very much for your kind attention.